motivation, you don't need motivation. You need to be demotivating what is motivating you to not be motivated. So understand that the metaphysical construct of motivation. So you have to understand that your mind is a metaphysical construct and a tool that is being used, right? So you use your mind, right? And within your mind, you have something called motivation, right? A force of momentum that is bringing you towards a goal, a force of momentum that is pushing you towards a goal. And within that force of momentum, within that motivation, in the underlying motive, there are reasons that trigger off emotions, and those emotions are causing currents to your mind, and through your mind you are getting the emotion to act. So you have to understand that emotion, you act off emotion, right? So when you feel motivated, you are feeling emotion to act. So you have to understand that to feel motivated temporarily, to have this figmentation of bullshit that you think is motivation, which is really just you trying to hype yourself up for being a low piece of shit, and you're gonna stay a low piece of shit because, you know, motivation is infinite. You know, you're supposed to be in a constant state of motivation. It's not some shit you just pull out of your asshole whenever the fuck you need it because you feel like shit, right? Motivation is a momentum, right? It's momentum. Motivation is momentum, and it's a force that's going to push you. And within that force, there are reasons, and within those reasons are triggers that trigger certain emotions, which are just energy in motion. So emotions, energy in motions. So your emotions are triggering currents, and those currents, those impulses are triggering a force within your mind that is pushing you towards a specific goal. So when we look at motivation, you cannot be motivated if you don't have a goal. So you have to understand that you can say you have a goal, but to not be motivated and to not demonstrate it and to not execute what you need to execute habitually to attain that goal is to demonstrate and to represent and to rendition yourself as a person who is not motivated and has made it obsolete to have a omission to not complete that goal, but really just deceive themselves out of lying. You're lying to yourself that you want to achieve this thing to feel better about yourself for not having or achieving that thing. So when you say you need to feel motivated, when you say you need to feel this, you need to feel that, no, you need to feel demotivated for what is motivating you, what is sending currents in your mind, which is momentumly pushing you towards a goal, which is to avoid yourself from accomplishing that goal. So if you say you need motivation, you're lying. You need to demotivate from what is demotivating, you need to demotivate from what is motivating you to act in alignment with your worst outcome. Sheesh. A lot on the fucking plate, guys. You need to eat it, and you need to digest, and you need to grab a notebook, and you need to put this information down on paper, and then you need to meditate on this, because this could change your lives if you could comprehend the velocity of what I'm transferring, what I'm literally inversing into your mind for you to comprehend and up your mental cache to get on a higher plane of consciousness quicker, and you can reach higher levels of being. You can reach higher levels of existence. You can finally attain that dream, that goal that you so desperately needed. Being self-made, right? So you're actually not taking from the world, you're giving effort, right? So when we look at people, they can work a job, but they're not self-made. So if you want to have that self-esteem and you really want to be that motherfucker that never missed a day, who put in all that pain, who let his fucking nuts hang, then you're going to have to up your level of fucking consciousness, because you ain't going to make it in this journey of success. So if you feel demotivated to go to the gym, you don't need motivation. You need to demotivate from what is motivating you to not go to the gym, because you have to understand that within that motivation that is demotivating you to go into the gym are underlying reasons, and within those underlying reasons are emotional triggers, and within those emotional triggers is what is causing you to not go to the gym. And it's not just with gym. When we look at addictions, you have a motivation, because remember, for motivation to exist, we need a goal, we need an end outcome. So when you're addicted, when you're vaping, when you're drinking, when you're doing all this stupid shit like a stupid idiot, you know, you have a motivation to kill yourself. So when we go into the depth of your mind and we actually reveal your inner essence, and we actually go into the core metaphysics of your mind's construct and your mind's interferometry, we have to understand that every time you indulge in that addiction, you're really just demonstrating an act of annihilation for yourself, and you are making it your goal to kill yourself. You're making it a goal to escape yourself. And so this is why we need to rid the addictions, and we need to demotivate from what is motivating us to go out and get what we feel we need to feel better about ourselves, when in reality, actuality, and factuality, you're really just killing yourself passively, and you're doing it unconsciously, because you are an unconscious thinker. You are unconscious, you are inept, you are inferior, mentally inferior, you are a hominid, and you lack intelligence, you lack intrinsic value, you lack God. That's really what you lack in essence. And so you have to understand that you have to start your process, and you start by solving your problems. And so if you can't solve your problems, because this is where most humans, these wayward individuals, these inferior species, these specimens of what not to be, these examples, these horrid, these fucking poor-minded, poor in spirit, poor in living in just a dead body walking, a monstrosity, a fucking loser, a bitch, right? That. We don't want to fucking be that fucking whack piece of shit, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to solve every fucking problem in our life. And then when you get to that clean slate, how do you solve the problems? You demotivate from what's motivating you to create that problem, because you are the core emanation of your reality, and your reality is a reflection of you. So you demotivate from what is motivating you to create a problem. Then after you demotivate from what is motivating you to create a problem, you have to now figure out what you want to build, right? Because now you have destroyed everything that was destroying you. So now you have a clean slate, right? And when you have that clean slate, now you can start moving towards the goal of creating your reality. And so how do you create your reality? Well, a lot of people seek to have. They want to have the nice car. They want to have the mansion. But they don't want to be the person to actually build that and to actually be and become. So you have to create an individual who already is and who already has, not an individual who just has, right? So be the man to actually be and become, and don't be just a figment or a fragmented version of yourself that is going to be so unfulfilled because they didn't take on the journey of life to conquest and to conquer and to dominate and to proliferate and to master thyself and to be a master of the world, which is the material existence. So you have to think about who you are and who you want to be, and you're going to have to think about how would you act? What do you have? You know, what key characteristics do you have? Are you intelligent? Are you inept? Are you competent? Are you incompetent? Are you fertile? Are you infertile? Are you optimistic? Are you non-optimistic? Are you poor? Are you rich? Are you a motherfucking bitch? Like, you need to think about who you're going to become, and you're going to write in your notebook who you're going to become. And then you're going to steadily but surely impress your consciousness that you are that person. So when you figure out who you are, when you have when you know who you're going to be, when you're aligned, now you're aligned with a goal, right? So now you're creating a motivation simultaneously by having an outcome, right? Because the outcome is what creates the motivation. So once you create the outcome, now you've already set that in motion as long as you don't compromise yourself. So you have to ensure that you don't compromise yourself. So every time you remain that reluctant piece of shit, you have to demotivate from what is motivating you to remain that reluctant piece of shit. And you know, you have to understand that motivation is really intrinsic, it's infinite, it's infinite, and you should be operating it from it daily. And matter of fact, your fucking motivation should be rocket fuel, and your environment should be triggering the motivation. And that's a whole different level of existential competence. So again, we're going to start from the basics, and we're going to look at who you are and who you need to become. And don't let who you are hold you back from who you need to become. You're going to write down the traits that the person you would be, what you would have, how would you act, how would you look. You know, your best self isn't a fat piece of shit, right? Your best self is a six-pack, right? He has big legs, he has big arms, and he has a cut jaw, he has a nice beard, he has a good haircut. You know, he's not this low-level piece of shit, fat bitch, Burger King, working, wagey, slavey, brokey, deplorable, existential crisis, fucking proliferating backwards, inept, incompetent, low-level piece of shit that is really just a waste of space and time and energy on Earth in the universal grand scheme, in the grandeur of unfoldment. So you either gonna create the individual you need to be, or you're gonna remain an inferior hominoid. And matter of fact, you're gonna remain a slave for your entire life. And when you're 50, you're gonna realize that you missed out on the journey of unfoldment. And that unfoldment is really golden. And, you know, it's really what's gonna bring you to that fulfillment in life. When we look at life, it's about eventful, purposeful, meaningful, thriving for personal excellence, not this feeble fucking bullshit. I'm gonna be comfortable and be a slave until I fucking die. So, you know, slaves be slaves, masters be masters. Let's master our fucking existence. Let's create the reality that we want through emanating, becoming source emanation, and being that individual we need to be by individuating into that individual while they remain minuscule. So you look at who you want to be and you become him. You open your fucking journal and you start making moves to become him. But don't do it consciously. Just remember that you are him and trust the process. Peace.